searching for too long. Your lonely heart's been looking for a home. You need a man that'll treat you good, that'll give you all the things a good man should.
The Right Place with Kevin Sport is sponsored by Conecuh Sausage. Get your grill on. Mossy Pond Retrievers. Take them home to Mossy Pond. Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College. It is college done right. Frog Tog. Whatever you do, there's a Frog Tog suit for you. Alaga Syrup. Over 100 years and still sweet. The Right Place with Kevin Sport.
Hi everybody, I'm Kevin Sport. Welcome back to The Right Place. Have you ever been bone tired? I'm not talking about the kind of tired you feel after a good day's hard work. I'm talking about being weary tired. I'm talking about the kind of tired you feel in your body and your soul. When fatigue threatens to overwhelm you, what keeps you going? Well, for me, it's about faith. And I'm not talking about faith in a religion. I'm talking about faith in a cause and a calling. Because I believe we were all called to be a part of the human experience and contribute. But I also know that when we use our talents, sometimes we don't get the praise and adulation that we might deserve. More often than not, our motives are misunderstood and our decisions are called out. And the people who are speaking the loudest aren't the people who are admiring our spirit. So who's going to win? Fatigue or faith? Well, I can tell you today's guest is a guy who's keeping the faith. He's a great singer, songwriter, collaborator, and Michael Cosner has a lot to say about life. And it's my privilege to introduce you to him today. We're going to pick up with our conversation about where Michael's been and where he's headed.
Parents tell the story better than I do, and I'm a little fuzzy on the details, but I'll see if I can get it right. First of all, let me back up. I've always, loved music and country music because that's what Dad always played.
Yeah.
He was the biggest George Jones fan in the world, and so we listened to George Jones and, of course, Haggard. Johnny Paycheck was big in the 70s. Loved Paycheck.
Had some great songs.
Buck Owens,
Yes.
Gene Watson had a lot of songs in the 70s.
Sure did.
Guys like that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, they tell the story that, I don't know how old I was. I was young. I was probably, 5 or 6 maybe.
Okay.
But we had gone to the mountains. I guess we were in around Pigeon Forge somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And they picked up Dad had picked up I swear I can't remember. It was either a Vern Gosdin tape,
That
cassette,
would have been a good one.
or a Ricky Skaggs. And anyway, my mom heard me. It was probably Vern Gosdin because those harmonies are really distinct, and you can pick them out.
Yeah, you can.
And my mom heard me singing along with the harmony, and so she was kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, I think they kind of saw
saw
any
it.
talent that I might have had. They kinda
picked up
saw
on it pretty quick.
And I was on, from there, Dad put me on stage at age 7.
Oh, man.
I was playing. On the way in, we passed. It was Mocksville, North Carolina, Lake Myers Family Campground. They would play there quite a bit, and they had a real nice stage and a covered area for the, for the crowd to sit.
Yeah.
And so I went up there, and the first song I did was the Ricky Skaggs version of "Crying My Heart Out Over You," which is an old Flat and Scruggs
Yes, it is.
song. So that was the first time I was 7, and we passed it. I told Mike as we came in, I said, that was where I was first put on stage.
That's good.
Age 7. So that's kind of where it started.
Oh, yeah.
And then, from there, I'd do a song or two when I could with them. And, at that point, Dad bought my brother and I, my older brother and I, an Ibanez flat top. And I guess he taught us maybe G, C, and D,
Yeah.
and said, all right, here you go. And so there, I've never had any lessons. I'm not a great guitar player either, but I kind of took those 3 chords and kind of, went from there. And then, as I got a little older, into my teens, I kind of stopped messing around with it a little bit. I was playing sports and
Oh, yeah.
and that kind of thing. But then, I guess maybe whenever I got into my middle teens, I started picking up on it again. I started exploring the idea of writing my own songs
Right.
as well. And anyway, so then it just kind of went from there.
I understand totally what you're saying. When you have been performing your whole life and it becomes part of your life so early like that, at what point did you know that you were serious about it?
I can tell you exactly. As a matter of fact, Dad being from East Tennessee and my mom's family from Western North Carolina, we didn't go. We kind of lived in the Triad area of North Carolina, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, High Point area, which is not exactly center of the state, but pretty close. So we can easily get to, the coast if we wanted to, or the mountains. We always went to the mountains because, like I said, that's where my family is from.
Right.
East Tennessee, Western North Carolina. So we'd go there a lot, and it was probably, I don't know the exact year, but I know the circumstances behind it. Early 90s, I guess, we had gone, on a family vacation up to the mountains.
Yep.
And, and they may still have them, but they used to have those booths where they'd have the backing tracks, and you could go and put your vocal on this backing track
Oh, yeah.
for like $20 or whatever. It wasn't
Oh,
that
yeah,
bad.
I remember.
But for a few dollars, you could go and make a recording. And I did, If I Know Me was a George Strait single around that time.
Yep.
And so I did that. And when it came out, I was like, hey, that ain't too bad. That's all right.
Yeah.
And so I took it home, played it for my, some of my friends, and they're like, man, that's pretty good,
Yeah.
And so from then on, I thought, I might explore this. And that's about the time, when I started getting serious about really trying to learn how to play and start thinking about writing and that kind of thing. And
Yeah. I say this a lot, but it is a calling. It's similar, I think, to other professions. You really have to feel it in your gut, in your heart, and yeah, you have to have the inclination or talent to do it and develop. I don't think it ever ends, that part of it.
well, I know a lot of you hear a lot of people say that they started in church,
Yeah.
singing in church, this, that, and the other.
Sure.
Well, mine's kind of backwards. I didn't. My dad was playing, and it wasn't until my teenage years that I started singing in church
How about
and
that?
doing some solos, and that kind of helped feed that, that passion,
Oh, yeah.
that desire to do that,
Right.
seriously.
That's very good. That is different, too. Can you remember the first song you sang in church or performed?
Boy, I don't.
I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't, but it was. I know it was an old time. It was probably something written
Gospel,
by
yeah.
Albert E. Brumley.
Okay.
I did a lot of those, so
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was one of those. I can't tell you
All right.
exactly what it was, but
Well, there's a spiritual aspect, obviously, to music. And
yeah.
country music is such a combination, I believe, of storytelling, the vocal, a combination of blues, gospel, and it's to me, it's one of the coolest genres out there. You're in the right place with Kevin Sport. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Right Place. I'm Kevin Sport. We were talking about the spirit of country music. Well, now Michael and I are going to talk about the heart of country music and what it takes to pursue it. As far as country music is concerned, what's the heart of it for you?
well, it's funny you should ask. I'll try to stay off the soapbox.
No, please don't.
I won't get in trouble either.
We won't get you in trouble.
No, I was thinking that you might ask me that.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to think of what my response would be. I think, there's a few things that a good country song does. it'll at least do one of these three, I think.
Okay.
It's
Lay it
gonna tell a good story.
Yep.
It's gonna make you think about something, and maybe in a way that you might not otherwise.
I would agree.
It's gonna open you up maybe to a different point of view, and make you think about something in a different way. Or number three, it's gonna make you feel something, some sort of emotion.
Absolutely.
And really, and a lot of those overlap. Some of them maybe all three.
Yes.
But a lot of good country songs are going
Yes.
to be one of those three, and like I said, sometimes they're going to overlap two or sometimes three of those things. Now, that's where I think that as a genre, we've kind of lost that a little bit. We've lost that a lot.
Very good, Michael.
So
How
when
much film have we got? Can we keep? I think we just got started here.
when I'm writing, and whether I'm by myself, which I don't do as often, as I'd like, just because a lot of stuff going on.
Sure.
I've always got stuff bouncing in my head. My phone's filled with a chorus or a verse here and there. But when I'm writing, I just and now that I'm older, you look at things differently as you get older.
Sure. Yes,
and
you
it's
do.
I just don't. I like to have, I like to hear songs, and I like to write songs that I describe as having some meat to them.
Yeah.
Having something to say, something with some substance. And I don't know. That's just how I look at it. And I just think we lost a lot of that. I hate to say it this way, but I think our genre has lost some of its identity, some of its soul.
Well said.
So.
Well said. You can come back on our show anytime you want to. No, I do agree with you, and that is the reason that we wanted you to come on the show. And you're not the only songwriter, singer, artist that has expressed that to us, and we would agree. I think it's the time we're in. Maybe I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I do know this. I know that what you said is true. What songs should do, what they should say, what they should stir in us. Tell me what you want to say in your music.
Boy, that's one I didn't prepare for. That's a good question.
But it can be more than one thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm a father. I'm pretty boring. I'm a pretty boring person. I don't really have any bad habits, so I don't write. Although I love to listen to old drinking and cheating songs.
Oh, sure.
I don't write those just because I don't do that.
All right.
I try to. What I want to express with my music is, things that are real, things that I've experienced. Maybe not, 100% autobiographical.
Sure, I understand.
But things you've been through, things I've gone through. I'm not the only one that's gone through them.
Right.
So I feel like if I can just draw from that and express that in some way, if people get to hear it,
You've done
chances
your job.
are somebody's going to be able to relate to it.
Yeah.
And in some way, if that helps somebody, that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
I was talking to Kevin earlier, and I told him, I said, a good country song is going to do one of three things, in my opinion. It's going to tell a good story. It's going to make you think about something maybe in a way that you've never thought about it before. Or it's going to evoke some sort of emotion in you. Some of the great songs do more than one. They'll overlap. They'll do two or sometimes all three of those things. I'm going to try my best to at least hit one of those with each of my songs tonight. And hopefully you like what I'm doing up here. I'm gonna do this next song here. I took this song to the writing session and had the chorus done. And I was writing with Byron, and I said, I got this chorus, but I just don't know where to go from there. And I played this chorus, and
he liked it, and so we started writing it. And this is one of my favorite songs I think I've written so far. And it's about a young person that, you know, it's time for him to grow up. You know, it's time for him to kind of take charge. And once you hear the lyrics, I think you'll understand that at some point, you know, it doesn't apply to just guys. I mean, this applies to everybody. The sentiment of this song applies to everybody. This is one called "Be Your Own Man." Growing up, you're faced with lots of questions, and the answers are not always easily found. People fill your world with expectations, living up to those can bring you down. Don't let them tell you what kind of life you should lead, or try to make you something you don't want to be. Here's your chance. Make a choice, take a stand, 'cause it's time to be your own man. Well, they'll try to pull you off in all directions, but when your heart and soul says take the other road, so listen to that voice you have inside you, and if you do, you won't regret it when you're old. Don't let them tell you what kind of life you should lead, or try to make you something you don't want to be. Here's your chance. Make a choice, take a stand, 'cause it's time to be your own man. Don't let them tell you what kind of life you should lead, or try to make you something you don't want to be. Here's your chance. Make a choice, take a stand, 'cause it's time to be your own man. It's time to be your own man. Thank you. Thank y'all.
I think that you know, in the country genre more than any, man, I think if you're just honest with your music, people gravitate to that.
Yeah, I do
You
too.
know, and you know, all the smoke and mirrors and the fluff.
Yeah,
You know, people can kind of see through that.
yeah, I think so.
When put side by side, I think people kind of gravitate toward something that means a little something.
Yeah, something,
to
that's,
'em, you
something
know.
that's real.
Yeah.
If you had to share something with somebody that you felt comfortable in a personal way, you know, or maybe a struggle or a moment or something that you could use to encourage somebody, what would it be?
Well, I would say because it's so important to me is you don't really have to look very hard to see or to hear God talking to you. And He'll show you, He'll let you know if you're on the right path, if you're doing the right things. So I would tell people to have faith. You know, maybe everybody doesn't believe the same way I believe.
Sure.
But I would tell people to trust and have faith because you ain't in this alone.
Right.
You know, and you know, it's not really, you know, I don't know that I have anything profound to say as far as music goes. I just think, you know, and like you'd mentioned earlier, any walk of life,
Absolutely.
doesn't matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I can go back and I can see things that God showed me or did for me exactly when I needed it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I understand what you're
you know,
saying and feeling.
I am blessed.
But this is a song about a guy that's getting ready to ship out, probably again for the second or third time, and he's kind of talking to his wife here, so we'll try to get through this one. Hope you like this. This is called God Willing. Oh, tomorrow I'll be leaving you once again for to fight in the war in that faraway land where the sun burns like fire through smoke and through dust. I don't want to leave you, but you know I must. You know I must. But I'll keep you here in my mind and my heart, and long for the day that I'm back in your arms. Keep me in prayer, darling, while I'm away. God willing, I'll come back and be yours someday. Be yours someday. Oh, the life of a soldier is uncertain at best, with no time for heartache and no time for rest. So I'll go on fighting till this battle's won. But it may not happen for some time to come. Some time to come. But I'll keep you here in my mind and my heart, and long for the day that I'm back in your arms. Keep me in prayer, yours someday. Be yours someday. Thank you.
Whether you're a musician or teacher or artist or carpenter, or work with your voice or work with your hands, you were created to live and give. And you can take your faith and work through the fatigue, and that burden can become a blessing. And remember, when you're following your dream, your God-given dream, you're always in the right place.
Baptized on a riverbank, hallelujah, child, amazing grace. Born again with elder race. Tom Sawyer and the Holy Ghost, two things that I love most. Mark Twain and the Father knows. Oh, they help me find my peace.